Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Acupuncture is My Life. Now, I'm going to make this a two-part episode because I've been questioned by a few individuals at the Acupuncture is My Life clinic here in New York City, as well as via the app message center. And that was in light of, what's going on these days and heavy celebration, the time of year. What foods can help a person get over a hangover much quicker? So I, decided, hey, I should do a podcast on this. Since so many of you guys listen, hopefully it'll help more than just the individuals who've asked that question. Because as most of us already know, drinking too much or too much alcohol consumption at any particular time can trigger an inflammatory response and irritate the stomach lining and also lead to dehydration. And we tend to wake up the next day with symptoms such as headaches, fatigue, nausea, dizziness, and excessive thirst. And more times than not, a hangover would tend to pass in 24 hours. But, what was interesting in some of the questions that were posed to me was, how can I get over a hangover much quicker? What types of foods or can acupuncture, see, I need my green tea. Can acupuncture help? Let me tell you, first and foremost, acupuncture is awesome for treating hangovers. And in my own personal experience, treating hangovers where an individual would walk into the office after waking up the next morning and felt horrible, they would leave the office like as if they never drank the night before. Now, I will say, and I really don't say this much about acupuncture, but when that acupuncture needle goes into the hangover spot, it can be quite uncomfortable. And the chi sensation that it elicits it'll wake you up. It'll really get rid of that hangover. You better believe it. But now, some may not have, immediate access to an acupuncturist. So foods are the next best alternative. And, just some foods that I may recommend. Let's say I'll start with avocado. Why avocados? Because as an acupuncturist, we all know, alcohol puts a super strain on a person's liver. And what color foods I've stated in the past are beneficial for the liver, according to an acupuncturist. And that's green colored foods. Red colored foods are great for the heart. Yellow, spleen and stomach. White colored foods are great for the lungs, like cauliflower and so forth. And black or dark colored foods like blueberries or black sesame seeds, great for the kidneys. But here we're talking about the liver, because alcohol puts a great strain on the liver. So avocados is great because it contains certain compounds that can protect against liver damage. And avocados are also high in potassium, and that's one of the main minerals you lose when you go on this drinking spree. And an acupuncturist also understands that avocados are sort of like a blood and yin tonic, and it's great for harmonizing the liver. Now, another is ginger. You may want to do ginger tea, or even if you want to dice up some ginger, and if you can tolerate just chewing on it, do that as well. Because ginger is it's proven to be a natural remedy for nausea, and it's great for settling a person's stomach, especially after a hangover. And in light of that, an acupuncturist understands that ginger benefits the spleen and stomach, and it helps stop vomiting. Okay? Another recommendation of mine would be tomato juice. Now, tomatoes tend to help with easing hangover symptoms because of certain compounds it possesses, such as lycopene or naringeline. Those compounds are very powerful, and it protects against liver damage. And an acupuncturist understands that tomato juice tends to clear internal heat as a result of becoming dehydrated from excess alcohol consumption. And it quenches thirst as well as it cools the blood as well. Another recommendation of mine would be eggs. Eggs are awesome. You see, the selenium that's in eggs is a very powerful mineral that's essential for healthy metabolism and protecting your body from oxidative stress as a result of drinking too much alcohol. Alright, so eggs is really great, and an acupuncturist understands that eggs tend to nourish your blood, your yin, as well as your qi, because your blood, yin, and qi become negatively impacted as a result of excess alcohol consumption. Another great vegetable that I know many of you tend to shy away from, but it's a very healthy vegetable, is asparagus. Because it also contains compounds that ease hangover symptoms. It possesses certain enzymes that helps to break down alcohol while protecting the liver cells from damage, which is very important. And another, now this tends to be my favorite, snack. One of my favorites. I won't say favorite, probably top 20. Is Brazil nuts. Now, some individuals pronounce it Brazil nuts. Some say Brazil nuts. I say Brazil. And it contains an important component for anti-inflammation. And it's packed with anti-inflammatory compounds and very high in selenium. And an acupuncturist understands that Brazil nuts strengthen the spleen and lungs. Now, why do we say lungs here? Because alcohol tends to generate mucus. And of course, this mucus sits in the lungs and it's not good for you. So you really want to expectorate this mucus and just really improve digestion. And that's why, the spleen is involved. Because an acupuncturist understands that health is wealth. We know that the wealth is not in the stock market. It's not in the bank. It's not in the safe. It's not in your pocket. It's not in your purse. It's not under the mattress. It's not in the shoebox in the closet or under the doghouse in the backyard. We understand that it's in you. Now, another awesome vegetable is cucumber. Why? Because alcohol causes dehydration. And cucumbers are loaded with water and electrolytes to rehydrate you, which is especially after super binge drinking. And an acupuncturist understands that cucumbers tend to clear internal heat as well as it quenches thirst. And the next is a no-brainer. That's water. Hello? Water. Because alcohol is a diuretic, right? So now if we're urinating a lot, what do you think we want to do? We want to put the fluids back inside. Nice room temperature water to replace what we've lost. All right? And here's going to be a surprise to many, and that's salmon. And I know you're going to get on me about, here we go with the omega-3 fatty acids. Yes, of course. Well, first of all, alcohol tends to deplete the body of B-complex vitamins. And it increases compounds in your body that tends to cause inflammation. And you see, eating salmon, it can counter that because it's a fatty fish that's loaded with B12 and B6 as well as omega-3 fatty acids to lower inflammation. So salmon is great for you. And an acupuncturist understands that salmon benefits the spleen and stomach as well as it enriches qi and blood. Okay? And another is one of my favorites in my black tea in the morning. And no, I know you're thinking I'm going to say cinnamon, but yes, of course, cinnamon's great. But honey, because it contains fructose. All right. Now, this fructose tends to help the body eliminate alcohol more efficiently and provides faster relief from hangover symptoms. And an acupuncturist understands that honey energizes the stomach, spleen, and lungs. And it helps with fluid retention, because alcohol, of course, you're releasing lots of fluid. And another great fruit is bananas. Here we go. Great source of potassium, loaded with electrolytes. You need that because you lose a lot of potassium and electrolytes as a result of too much alcohol. And see, bananas are high in fiber, and it has slow digesting carbohydrates that tend to stabilize a person's blood sugar, which helps alleviate hangover symptoms. And an acupuncturist understands that bananas tend to nourish a person's yin, as well as it moistens dryness as a result of dehydration from alcohol. And you also want to eat things like saltine crackers, toast without anything on it, or potatoes. Just bake a potato. Don't put any like butter or anything on it, But other than that, I'll leave the rest for part 2. And while you guys carefully take note of the foods I just recommended, remember to make acupuncture part of your life, because acupuncture is my life. What's yours?